Pues buenas tardes, buenos días, si nos están viendo por la mañana. Esto es Redondo no es una forma, nuestro canal sobre contenido del Tenerife y de fútbol en general. Y como les hemos prometido, pues vamos buscando contenido, que no tiene que ser directamente contenido de cómo ha quedado el Tenerife, cómo ganó el Tenerife, que estamos a día 16 de agosto, ha ganado el Tenerife al Real Oviedo por 1-0, estamos muy contentos, ahora hablaremos con nuestro invitado acerca del partido. Pero hoy lo que toca es conocer a una persona muy especial, a una persona que es fan del Tenerife, pero que no es fan del Tenerife como lo puedes ser tú que estás viendo el vídeo porque vas al estadio o porque no vas y sigues los partidos por la tele o por Twitter, ¿de acuerdo? Sino porque este amigo, Joel, que lo ves en pantalla ya, Joel está en Inglaterra. Pero para mayor sorna y para mayor risa, Joel no habla español, no habla castellano. Sí que entiende castellano, sí que lo entiende, pero no lo habla. Y a pesar de eso, es un apasionado del Tenerife que yo he conocido a través de las redes sociales y que lo pongo aquí para que todos lo conozcamos, que además es seguidor de un equipo inglés, del Middlesbrough, que seguramente tú lo conoces porque alguna vez has jugado contra equipos españoles o simplemente porque ves la clasificación de la Championship, de la segunda liga de allá. Y Joel, pues se ha hecho famoso en Twitter, en Twitter Tenerife, porque lleva una bandera al estadio del que es abonado, el estadio del equipo al que es abonado ahí en su tierra, con una referencia a nuestro Tenerife. Lo vamos a ver y lo vamos a hablar. Sin más, porque mi intención es que tener a Joel aquí un buen rato y que se lo pase bien, voy a pasar a saludarlo. Eso sí, me van a tener que disculpar todos por mi inglés macarrónico, porque yo hablo inglés, pero no hablo un inglés perfecto, ni tengo certificado de Cambridge de ningún número, así que me van a disculpar esa parte. Y también, pues, la parte de Joel lo pondremos subtitulado para que todo el mundo lo entienda. Así que, a partir de ahora, me paso al idioma de Shakespeare. Good morning, Joel. How are you, my friend?
All right. What about you? Hello, everyone.
Everything's okay. I'm very happy because Tenerife wins Real Oviedo last Monday, and we see the new team of Asier Garitano. We see how it plays. We see new players as Luis Cruz and be worried if the camera fall down. That's no problem. The problem is if you fall down. You know.
There we are.
Perfecto, 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 Joel. So I'm telling you that I'm very happy because Tenerife wins. We have the first 3 points of the season. How do you feel this beginning of the season, Joel?
Oh, do you know what? Monday night was, the moment I woke up on Monday, I thought, you know what? Yeah, we might win here. I had the feeling like we
Really?
win.
Really?
And yeah, I had a feeling like we're gonna get 1-0 Valdao-Severa for definite. And then I was buzzing for the match all day, and we played well.
Really?
You know, we pressed the opponent. We didn't let him get out the half. No, we were solid defensively as well.
Sí.
You know, we were still using principles from the Ramish team, like solid defensively, but up top, you know, going forward, we were just bombing. There was just many people going forward.
Yeah.
You know, you had going forward, but Winyel going forward first half. You know, we had numbers in the box, and I just thought we fully deserved to win that game. And hopefully we have more wins under our belt, you know, coming into the season.
Total. But could be that thing that you say, Joel, the change that we see between Rami's system and Garitano's system, the pressure and the wings, the people who play in the wings. We see Luis Cruz and Waldo this match. And enjoy that new kind of play, isn't you, Joel?
Yeah, they were just, you know, they were always involved in play. You know, I thought Waldo was brilliant. You know, Luis Cruz, you know what, I want to say something. He's a fantastic player. Yeah. You know, we are going to him this season. The little nutmeg on the Oviedo player. Oh wow.
Sí. I remember the defender, the center defender of Oviedo, climbing to Enrique Gallego to stop them.
I just thought we were, fully rewarding for 3 points, and the differences between Ramos' system, under Ramos, we sat back, we worked the opponent. Under Garitano, how you say it, for us, quite different. We were just like, right, when Oviedo had the ball in defence, we were just like, right, Gallego, you go press. It was like, Gallego was pressing for once.
Yeah.
You're not only press, because last year you had Garces pressing, and it was very different. And I thought, we were just brilliant all day. And
it's the first match, but we see not some things, several things that make us believe, no, in that team.
Oh yeah, completely, yeah. My only concern was Aitor Sanz's injury. I wonder how long he's out for.
Sí. Today the news today is that is worse that we imagine. O sea, it's not a normal injury. It appears that it was just the hit with the other player, but they are waiting for some proofs and waiting for the results of that things to know that the news today are that are going with all to sing a new midfield player, because Aitor Sanz's injury is worse than appear.
Expected. It's worse than expected, and it does raise a bit of concern. We've only got one fully fit midfielder with Pablo Araya, potentially going where is it? Murcia, I don't know.
Sergio, you have in the midfield, you have Sergio González, who plays after Sanz's injuries, Corredera, Pablo Larrea, who is near to reject in Tenerife and sing in Murcia, very, very near, and Javi Alonso, who is a long time injury, okay, and anybody else, because Pablo, the young guy from Tenerife B, is near to sing with another team as a loan, but is near to sing as a loan with our team. So if the injury of Sanz is worse than it appears, we really need a midfield right now.
Then all the news I've heard is it's a foreign midfielder that's previously had not experience of playing in Spain.
Sí. Let know the news that we have this afternoon, because the morning news are not well for Aitor Sanz, but we send all our support, Joel, me and the channel, to Aitor Sanz, because we believe in Aitor Sanz, and we believe that he's a player who changes things in matches. He's a player who is very clever guy, and we need Aitor Sanz in this season.
Just having his experience on the pitch, the know-how of how things is crucial.
Really.
So it's a big miss.
Sí. Bueno, let's just wait for the news. So I will ask to my friend Joel. I'm very happy because I didn't meet Joel as person, but it's the first time that we talk and we see our faces, because we have Twitter profiles and doesn't know each other. We just had a little chat before starts record that piece for our program, and he tell me some things that I will ask you again, just for the people who follow Redondo no es una forma, knows Joel Harrison and his very authentic history, okay? So, Joel, the first thing I tell you is a very, very easy questionnaire for you is how old are you, Joel?
I'm 18 years old.
Okay. Perfecto. Perfecto. It makes me very grandfather grandfather feelings, okay? So I didn't feel you as a son, so I feel you as a grandson, okay? Vale. Where do you live, Joel?
I live in Middlesbrough, and if people don't know where Middlesbrough is, it's between Newcastle. It's near Newcastle.
Okay.
It's in the northeast.
Did you hate Newcastle?
No, it's just when I was young, Mum had the job, and we had to move between certain places in the country. But at one point we're in Leeds, one point we're in a place called Wath, which is near Rotherham, and then next minute we're going to Middlesbrough, and I've been there ever since.
Wow. And your team, your first team, your team in England, your home team is Middlesbrough. And what was the team that follow the fans of Middlesbrough hate in the championship?
It's none other than Sunderland.
Really?
Even though the Sunderland fans don't want to claim that, Middlesbrough Sunderland isn't a derby, but it clearly is. It clearly is, because when I go to the game, there's tons of policing, there's tons of security everywhere.
Wow.
It feels like World War III, but they kind of deny that the derby exists, because they've got one with Newcastle up the road. So we're kind of like a third spare wheel in a clog. Kind of that way, like it goes like Newcastle Sunderland, and then it's just us versus Sunderland. Newcastle versus Borough, it's a rivalry, but we haven't seen it in about 12 years.
Okay.
Down up, we go up, or every time, or in the past years, we've stayed down and they've been in the Prem.
Yeah. But they don't wear a yellow shirt. It's no like Tenerife and Las Palmas that
No. On our side there is a couple Borough shirts, but mainly there's people dressed up.
Perfecto. So the next question is something that I tell you on Twitter. That's the thing why we meet each other. So I ask you that question, and I think it's the question who represents that interview with us is, why did you support Tenerife? Club Deportivo Tenerife as well.
It may not be the most conventional route people have seen, but when I was growing up, we went to Tenerife on holiday, and we went to the I believe it was Los Cristianos Market, and I believe it is, or the Costa Decky one. I can't remember which one it was. And there was I remember looking around. Right, my granddad wanted to buy me a football shirt.
Okay.
And I remember boss. You had your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, your Atletico Madrid, all of that. Okay. Out of all those three, he picked Tenerife.
Wow.
He picked it because it was, I don't know, he's playing, and he said, right, he bought me, he said, hand me that shirt, and that's the team he's supporting. I was like, all right then. and immediately since then, well, I've supported Tenerife nearly the entirety of my life.
Qué guapo. Qué historia. It's a great story. So,
my granddad.
Your granddad is one of my heroes right now. Is your grandpa, because really I think it's difficult for us living in Tenerife have young people who support Tenerife. So meet somebody like you who love Tenerife, who has this passion for the team, with any connection, just that moment, that fact, who had you with your grandpa is absolutely amazing. Which year is the year that you have the first memories of Tenerife, Joel?
It's gonna be the Alvaro Severa era.
Really?
When we went to Alvaro Severa, yeah, third division.
So you have all the all the good memories, no? The when Tenerife was in third division.
Just like Borough, all my memories are probably, relegation, dogfight, relegation battles, surviving in the final lane. Like, we've just survived.
Qué guapo.
People got promoted. I'm like, yeah, we've just survived.
Qué guapo, qué guapo.
Memories the Alvaro Severa era, when we went down to the third division. That's when I supported the club. That's when he bought me my first shirt. And
Your first shirt was since that year? Wow.
Third division, yeah. And I'll probably tell you, it could be a fake shirt. I don't have it anymore. I can't find it anywhere now.
No problem, no problem. Vale. So, with that memories,